Okay, so, um, pretty sure I am recording. Uh, so as y'all just seen right there, I am in a virtual machine. So, I would like to talk about, um, you know, tools that aren't explained by hackers online. Okay, so if you're a hacker, penetration tester, no matter what you are, gray hat, black hat, white hat, there are some tools, especially in ParrotOS and Kali Linux and a lot of things like that, right? So there's, tools that hackers don't really talk about, and it's probably just because this is only for educational purposes, but you saying educational purposes and yet showing us this type of stuff is like, don't do something illegal, but do something illegal. Wink, wink. Now, usually they talk about Aircrack G, Burp Suite, John the Ripper, or Johnny here, but John the Ripper, I use John the Ripper. Oh yeah, they talked about Buttercap a little bit, Wireshark, and that's about it. That's all they talk about. But they are not talking about any other type of stuff. They do talk about Wi-Fi. I've never seen anyone talk about Reaver. I might be butchering that name. But some really overpowered shit. Fuck. I woke up late, but some really overpowered kind of tools I want to talk about is stuff like Eyewitness. Take screenshots of websites. Now, for this, you're going to need a proxy server. You're going to need proxy server information, as you see right here. For this. But yeah, this basically does show screenshots of websites. This can show screenshots of websites, but also the screenshots from the web server, from the proxy server even, I don't doubt. So basically this is just information gathering kind of stuff, but trust me, it is overpowered. Now another really extremely overpowered one is Ettercap Graphical. And Hamster, as you can see here, a hijack victim cookies using Ferret program. So basically, first off, it's one of those you need your victims on the same network. So this could basically hijack the cookies. If you don't know what cookies are, the website cookies will hold, pretty sure will not hold passwords, but will hold data information of like what are they using this website for, files on the website type of stuff, or like their personal files on that website type of stuff. So yeah, you can hijack people's online files. Basically, you do need the victim to be on the same network. So this would be great if you was to go to a public Wi-Fi network. Often what you hear is you go to the coffee shop and you get on their public Wi-Fi. So yeah, Ettercap Graphical is just about the same thing, but rather you can control their devices through Bluetooth or through the network itself. Packet injection manipulation tool. Okay, so this one is not something that I would use personally, but rather this is something if you want to make your own custom packets to send out to a device to capture data. Change the MAC address. I forgot what a MAC address is, but oh yeah, fake router. Okay, so this would be great for man-in-the-middle attacks. Something man-in-the-middle attacks is something you don't really see too often anymore, unless you're looking at something like Network Truck. But still, Network Truck does not talk about fake router. So fake router, you're looking at fake router 6. Fake router 6 is the most useful, or at least the most useful in this timeline of network. Especially if you're talking a PVS 6 network or a PVS 6 router. In other words, if your router is a PVS 6 or a PVS 4, which is mainly a home router or an internet router, any one of those, most common, you're gonna use fake router 6. Now what this does is basically man in the middle attack. You're going to basically have your computer send out an identification packet to basically say that it is the router. You're going to announce yourself as a fraud fake router. And well, devices are going to connect to you instead of that router that you've copied or faked into or pretending to act like. And well, you know how it is. If they connect to you instead of the router, you get to receive their data. Anyone you want. It's probably deleting yourself from a server. Replace DNF. Something DNF. I forgot what DNF is. I haven't messed with DNF in a while. I accidentally smacked my keyboard, so now also oh yeah, Yara. Okay, so if you're a hacker that's downloading files from an onion link website or a dark web website, whatever you want to call that, so or even if you get even if you get files sent from other hackers, right? So basically this is a file scanner. This will scan if they send you, or if you downloaded some virus or ransomware type stuff, or if you're building a ransomware virus and you want to make sure that that works, you can use Yara. So it's basically a file scanner. Now CanNet, which I never really messed with yet. Pretty sure that this is just office stuff. But, you know, you always want to focus on penetrations with this. Information gathering. Gather information about a host. Could be useful. Obviously we know about network, or Nmap. People talk about Nmap, but that's just a scanner. That's not no big, kind of thing, like how they overrate it to be. So, but it would be good. You know what this would be good with? This would be good with something like Eyewitness, or what's another thing? Oh yeah, I did find another tool in here that I think would be great. Right? So if this could be very rare, but if, let's say, you use rocku.txt. So rocku.txt is a file. Oh yeah, another one from Man in Middle Tax. Graphical network monitor. I'm pretty sure that this is just a monitor IP addresses on a network, but this could definitely be useful. This is to monitor data and well, I just launched this to monitor data and IP addresses on a network. Though it's not command line. I'm more of a command line kind of guy. But definitely useful. Here it is. It just fucking launched, and well, it's kind of blank because I don't have it fucking enabled, so I don't use it. But definitely powerful. Oh yeah, Mimikatz. This is really only for Windows software. So uses admin rights on a Windows display. No wait, fucking my brain's dying. So uses admin rights on Windows to display passwords of currently logged in users in plain text. So this is likely another this is likely another this is likely another thing that you would need to be on a proxy server or on the same network, Wi-Fi network. So let's say you carry your laptop to, like, office, a co-worker's stuff. So like you carry your laptop over there, you're running Linux because you use Linux rather than Windows. Or let's say you have Windows on this laptop and you have Parrot OS on the virtual machine. You can basically monitor and see in plain text that you can see what your coworkers and bosses' passwords is, and you can hijack their Gmails and stuff to hack them, especially if your coworkers or bosses are a piece of shit. Okay, JCat is something shows the contents of a block in the file system journal. So what this does, this could basically, like, from what I looked up, this could basically be, yeah, this is basically a journal to save stuff. But I'm not a person that's going to set off my laptop or anything. If I want to save stuff in a journal, I'd rather just make a TXT file and then send it to my main host computer. Like you could do that with this, which is Palma edit text files. Palma edit text files. So yeah, you could basically just make TXT files with this, then send it through your home network. Or you could save it in the virtual machine state. So as you see, you could just type in the sit right here and then save as a TXT file, and that's how you can basically journal your shit. So JCat, I did not want to save this, but JCat, right? JCat, I feel like is something that's not really talked about for obvious reasons. Internet, let me see. Okay, metadata cleaner, remove metadata from data products. I'm not sure. So, oh yeah, these are some black hat tools. So access the internet. I'm not sure what Chromium browser is compared to Firefox and Tor browser. Tor browser is what everybody's going to use, definitely. Onion share, you can basically share files to other hackers and receive other files through other hackers without being traced. So this is basically definitely where you want to use Yara, because you're contacting from other hackers, likely other hackers. Okay, connect to remote desktops. That could be something, but I'm not sure that you could probably find something better in the penetrations rather than in privacy. So, oh yeah, internet. Download and share files over BitTorrent. So you could technically use this, could be suggestive, but also I am more familiar with Onion share. So launch Tor browser settings. Pretty sure that's not going to do anything for me because I haven't even installed Tor browser because my Wi-Fi. But I'm not even going to use this network. I'm just going to show this just to make the video. Wireless testing. I've never heard of this one from other hackers, but I would suggest using it. Neither with this one or this one. Brute force offline FPF pins. Low. For low or existing. So that might be hard to understand, but I think that's like hacking offline network connections, or I'm not sure, because that's not going to be useful, but yet that's what that looks like, and I haven't really messed with most of this stuff. I'm more of a guy that's focused on just using the basic aircrack NG, along with a lot of other overpowered stuff to get into servers like Eyewitness and stuff that people don't talk about. And then fake router even. Oh yeah, SQL. You can access SQL command injection scanner and exploitation tool. So they basically you can basically do if you don't know what an SQL injection is, it's literally where you take over a database to receive data and full control over the devices. This is extremely powerful. So if you ever hear SQL injection, just know what that is. Web exploit, scan and analysis, remote system to find various type of vulnerabilities. That is basically Nmap. That is an unmarked Nmap. Exploit and vulnerability finder, another Nmap-like tool. SQL injection is a lightweight application used to find database information from a server. Okay, so this is basically what you would use if you have a low quality computer, I guess. But it does say lightweight. I would suggest using it if you want to. There's a bunch of SQL injection type of stuff here. Oh yeah, password tags. It's either in password tags or post exploitation, which is where I found whatever I'm trying to look for, like profiting and wordless. Here we go. So get keywords from a website, generate a word list. Okay, so this is a bit odd. This is hard to explain, but basically, if you I did mention rocku.txt is a password wordless manager file, or it's a wordless that holds linked and most common word list, and there's over 800,000 of them. Fucking, there's at least 2,800 passwords. So did not want to open that, even though I knew for a fact I opened it, but Q, as I just showed. So basically this will generate its own custom word list. This will generate its own custom word list based on a website that you give it. So think of it like Eyewitness mixed with a word list generator. That is exactly what that is. So that's what this is. So think of it as Eyewitness mixed with a password generator. It's going to crawl all through the website that you send it to, and it's going to basically find every single word from that website and create its own word list based off of the words found on that website. A very common and very useful thing to find every single word would be like a social media. Like if you was to go on TikTok and generate a word list, you could probably do that to, you know, you could actually probably run Hydra. You can run Hydra and then hack into your best friend's account or something. So Crunch is a password generator from Corsets. So basically, this is a dictionary attack kind of maker. You can create your own custom word list, likely based off of what you know about that target, which is called a dictionary attack. But there's also like, you know, rainbow table. There's a bunch of other stuff for that as well. So basically, this one, from what I read up on, my voice is cracking up because I'm sick, but from what I read up on, this one will generate word lists based on character length. So let's say you want to hack into a TikTok account. Typically a TikTok account or a social media account, any account, is likely going to be 8 characters. So you're going to have to generate a word list based off of 8 characters basically. It's pretty simple. Word list managing tool, haven't read up on that one. Use Twitter to help generate those word lists based on searches related to the word list that is being cracked. I think that's hard to understand, but basically, I don't know. A collection of RockU and common password word lists. So this is basically RockU without downloading it. But I would suggest, what is wrong with this virtual machine? Okay. Like I said, with that tool, I really feel like it's best to just get the actual file of RockU.txt, which I have, because RockU.txt, from what I hear, it's very accurate because it is linked passwords already from a database, already right there. It is a big file, but of course it has a bunch of passwords. It's a TXT file, and from what I also know, it does get updated by other hackers. So if a hacker finds other passwords that are likely not in that stuff, they can edit that file. Secure backdoor for Windows and Linux. Now I heard about backdoor attacks, which is basically like very hard to explain, but this is like best way I can explain it is basically unsecured parts of an operating system or computer. So basically, you expect Windows to secure all of your stuff, but your operating system is likely not up to date. It's like you haven't done updates on it. So basically, these unsecure parts from your outdated operating system is what the backdoor is for hackers to sneak into your SID. A collection of Windows executables and penetration testings. So Windows binaries, this right here likely holds a tool that has a bunch of files in it, and it's going to hold a bunch of stuff like preset, pre-made viruses, exploitations, and keyloggers. I went in here and found a keylogger file in here. I'll go ahead and show you this, right? So a keylogger is very interesting. Yeah, keylogger right here. Keylogger.txt. Now, I'm not aware of what these other stuff does, but I know what a keylogger does. I know what, yeah, and it's a very small file too. But a keylogger, from what I know from a rubber ducky USB, is a keylogger USB. Basically, what this does is, let's be real funny here. Let's say you're typing up Pornhub on your computer, on your Windows computer, because people use Windows. You're going to type up Pornhub on your computer, and basically, that information of what you're typing is going to be sent to a hacker that has installed a keylogger. They can see your search history, basically. They can see what you're typing, they can see what you're messaging, they can see everything that you're typing, they can basically see your whole entire keystrokes on your keyboard. So digital forensics is something that I want to get into real quick. Firmware analysis tool. I found one where you could recover InNetSim. I have to look at that one. That one might actually be useful for me. So I found one tool that I think it's like you could recover deleted files. Basically, this is something that like a officer could use. But basically, how a hacker would use this is basically let's say a person somehow knows that he's being hacked. Let's say you want to hack your friend, and he knows that you're being hacked, so he just factory resets or deletes files from his computer that are valuable. And, well, you just recover them and gain access to them. Because I did find one that's like that. Yeah, recover lost files from based on their headers, footers, and internal data structures. This is what I'm talking about right here. So this is mainly for like officers, SBI, to recover deleted files of CP or criminal files. So I'm guessing basically that's evidence to show that officers do use Linux, and it's basically hackers are just people who gain access to these operating systems and use them for evil. But that is mainly the ones that I wanted to, look at. Or that is the ones that I mainly wanted to tell you about. I'll be doing, I'll be looking at more what I think is useful type of tools here, because there is over like 200 of these tools. No, not more than that. There's like, if you look up on, when you download Parrot OS, or Kali Linux even, but Parrot OS has most tools than any other. Parrot OS has about 600 tools, possibly even more than that. 600 tools that you likely ain't even gonna use, but these are tools that I think are very useful and very, underrated or just not talked about because of legal purposes or whatever. I'm very interested about Intel Sim, but I'll read up about that. And if there's any other tools that interest me, I will, explain about them. But these are just the main ones that I think are interesting, to talk about. That people just don't talk about because I don't know. Like they need to talk about this. So